flew across the room and struck the other granite on the wall about 20 feet away and left an indentation of its exact shape. And the power was stepped up and then burst through the top, through the apex of the Great Pyramid. But it all really was, the energy burst was created here. And what did it hold? It held the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant is a real piece of technology. Scientists at universities and other engineers have recreated the Ark of the Covenant based on simple instructions that are actually inside the Bible, and created something that was drawing so much power. It's like a giant capacitor. The university had to shut it down because it was pulling all the power out of the local area. And the engineers had to even shut it down because it was just too much power. It's getting ready to create a major power outage. That's how much power this thing was able to generate. From basic, simple instructions they create. You can look those videos up on YouTube. They actually exist, right? And so the box I'm standing in front of, this sits inside of it. It's the exact same dimensions. Why would they put this inside of it? Well, the reason why this box was added to the pyramid long after it was already built is because part of the pyramid technology had broken. The pyramid used to have water running underneath it from the Nile. The Nile used to run right up close to the Great Pyramid. Over time, well, for one reason, because of a war that happened, the Second Pyramid War, and then a dam was built. Two reasons why the Nile shifted away from that area and left it dry and barren. But the tubules that go underneath the pyramid where the water would flow from the aquifer is still there, because you can actually walk inside of them when you go around and underneath the pyramid. I know, because I've been there. Now, what's interesting about this, when water would flow under the magnetized granite base of the pyramid in the aquifer, it would create something called physiostatic electricity. And this physiostatic electricity will pull ions up into the pyramid and then shoot them up through the grand gallery, which had resonating rods, which have now been removed, but we can see the slots where they were. Then it would be shoved into the king's chamber where I'm standing, and some type of fusion reaction would happen, and that would be the power burst that would then get sent through the apex with the gold capstone and then transmitted out wireless electricity to the region. And the crystal granite magnetized obelisk would capture that ambient energy. And if you had a JED pillar, which is like a Tesla coil, with a cable connected to it, which we've seen in Egypt when I took people to the underground crypt at Dendera, you can then power things like light bulbs, electroplating devices, and so forth and so on. Okay? Powerful stuff. Now, the reason why I'm saying all this is because when Akhenaten was kicked out of Egypt, he took this with him. He went into the Great Pyramid and snatched it and took it with his followers into the desert. Okay, this is why I believe that he's really the true Moses of the Bible. He's the one that actually fled with the people that became known as the Jews, the Black Jews. Because why? Moses went down into Ethiopia, became known as the land of Moses. So the word Cushi or Cush is generally used in the Hebrew Bible to refer to a dark-skinned person of African descent. Jewish rabbinical literature uses Cushite to mean Black African people in general. Okay? 19th century Christian missionaries found that this group celebrated Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and Passover, and they also slaughtered a lamb at Passover and knew that the first 5 books of the Bible and some of the apocryphal books excluded from the Hebrew scripture by the Talmudic rabbis because they basically had doubtful authenticity. So they knew about all this. And it's hard to imagine how the customs of Beta Israel could so closely resemble pre-Talmudic Judaism in Palestine if this group's origins were at the time of the Exodus. So what this means, guys, is this. These Black Jews existed before the Talmud. They existed before the Torah. These were the original Jews, I believe, in my opinion, that were even possibly followers of this Akhenaten, who fled out of Egypt, took the Ark of the Covenant with him, which is why the Egyptians had to send the chariots after them, because they realized they took the source of Egypt's power, gone. And without that, they would fall back into darkness. So they went after him to try to get it. Now, when you look at the translations of Moses crossing the Red Sea, if you go back into the root words in the original text, go back into Aramaic, you discover something. They did not cross the Red Sea. That's been a big mistake, I'm going to call it that nicely, by Christian churches and and synagogues all over the world talking about the Old Testament where Moses crossed the Red Sea. He actually never crossed the Red Sea. He crossed the Sea of Reeds. It's a mistranslation, maybe by accident or on purpose, I'm not sure. But he crossed the Sea of Reeds, a much closer and much smaller and easier sea to actually cross. Okay? He took the ark with him, escaped into the desert, and from there, of course, you know the rest of the story. He went to Mount Sinai and went to the top, had a word with God, talked to a burning bush. When he came, now he was given the 10 Commandments. Those 10 Commandments come from the 42 laws of Mayat, or the 42 ideals of Mayat, which I've read multiple times on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else, and TikTok. That's the origins of the 10 Commandments. So obviously that story has been a little bit remixed. But when he comes down, one of the main commandments in those tablets is do not kill, right? And as soon as he comes down, he's unhappy with the way his tribes are acting, so he decides to kill. I mean, he killed about a few hundred people just then. So he just got the command and then he disobeyed the command. I don't know. And then he claimed it was God that, under the name of God, I'm going to kill you people because you're screwing up out here. I mean, this religion is just, you got to be careful with religion. It can really twist your brain up if you're not really understanding it. You're not rooted and grounded properly. If you become fanatical, it can really do some damage. So these Jews come down. They start getting into the desert. You know the story about Moses wandering the desert for 40 years and all this stuff. What really happened was a lot of tribes were lost. People split up and went their separate ways. Some ended up in Germany, Poland, Russia, England, Europe, UK, I'm sorry. Some went into Asia. Some went into Africa. And we know the ones in Africa, Ethiopia, right? We know that Moses went down into Ethiopia and married an Ethiopian woman. And from there, I'm pretty sure, began to pass on all these teachings of the Jewry to these people. And that became a Jewish nation because he brought along with him people from Egypt. He then was already down there meeting up with these people. He's married now into these Ethiopians, and it becomes a new Jewish nation from scratch, formed right there with all the original traditions that they had established pre-Talmud in existence already. Okay? And just again, looking at Akhenaten's family, you can see clearly that they're all black. And Moses married a black woman. It's very clear. It's extremely clear in the text that Moses married a black woman. They made sure to say that he married a Cushite, which means black woman. He married a black woman there. And so, and started a whole lineage. And it really, in my opinion, is Pharaoh Akhenaten. It just makes the most sense based on what I know historically that has happened in the area. And you won't believe where they are now, right? Did they disappear? Did they assimilate into other societies? Were they persecuted or wiped out? Because of persecution over the centuries in many of the countries in which they now live, many hid their Jewish heritage by practicing their faith in secret. Some are locally known to be Jewish and suffer prejudice and persecution because of it, but they have only recently become known to the rest of the world. In the last 75 years or so, Jewish communities have become known in Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, India, and even in China and other surprising countries. Even more surprising to some is that members of the lost tribes living in these countries look like any other people that are native to those regions. So now we're talking about the fact that they've literally spread into so many cultures and embedded themselves in so many cultures, and through breeding over and over again, many generations, it's hard to even tell. Now they actually have blended completely in with the people from those regions and those areas. Okay, so they literally have spread around the entire planet and have blended in with everyone. All right. A little bit more information that adds evidence to me that the black Jews, because some people in some videos will try to tell you that the black Jews just, they just happened to capture some of this information and they ran off to Ethiopia and they tried to start their own religion with it. Not what happened at all. What happened was they had the original knowledge. Let's take a look at, this here. I wonder why the star moved to the left like that. The Star of David. This is really important stuff right now. So for me, this is another key piece of evidence. Right now, you know that standard, regular Jewish people, Ashkenazi and Jews and so forth, they have the Star of David. And what's the origins of this? Now, this is from Encyclopedia Britannica. The Star of David is Hebrew Magen David, the Shield of David. Magen, also spelled Mogen, Jewish symbol composed of two overlaid equilateral triangles that form a six-pointed star. It appears on synagogues, Jewish tombstones, and the flag of the state of Israel. The symbol, which historically was not limited to use by Jews, originated in antiquity when side by side with the five-pointed star. It served as a magical sign or decoration. In the Middle Ages, the Star of David appeared with greater frequency among Jews, but did not assume any special religious significance. It is found as well on some medieval cathedrals. The term Magen David, which is Jewish liturgy, signifies God as a protector, shield of David, gained currency among medieval Jewish mystics who attached magical powers to King David's shield, just as in earlier non-Jewish magical traditions had referred to the five-pointed star as the seal of Solomon. So it actually dates back even before that. Kabbalists popularized the use of the symbol as a protection against evil spirits. The Jewish community of Prague was the first to use the Star of David as its official symbol. And from the 17th century, on the six-pointed star, it became the official seal of many of the Jewish communities and a general sign of Judaism. Though it has no biblical or Talmudic authority, the star was almost universally adopted by Jews in the 19th century as a striking, simple emblem of Judaism in imitation of the cross of Christianity. So what they're saying here is that they don't really understand where the star or origins of the star come from. They really don't have no clue about this thing, but they liked it. And so because some leaders say this is a good thing to have, it'll scare off the evil spirits and it looks pretty cool, we'll take it. That's how they got the star. Now, let me tell you what really this star is really about and what the Ethiopian Jews knew it was about. The Ethiopian Jews say the Star of David is actually a Merkaba. Now, you see, this is where I know that these people have been around much longer and know the history much better. The Star of David is a Merkaba, the star tetrahedron. The star tetrahedron is a crystalline field of information that is resonantly linked with each cell in the physical body in its inactive state. The star tetrahedron appears as a three-dimensional Star of David composed of two opposing and interlocking tetrahedrons. They know that the Star of David really is a star tetrahedron, which are two three-dimensional pyramids that can appear from the ethereal platform, multidimensional. Through meditation, you can actually I have an actual song called Merkaba, where it's a meditation track where you actually, through a special type of guided meditation, you actually create your own Merkaba and you get inside of it because it's a vehicle of ascension. You can actually travel inside the Merkaba in the spirit realm. They knew all about this. This is the real purpose and the meaning of it. It's not for decoration. It's not for putting on flags. It's not because it's cool. It doesn't have any. It's not because you think it has some cool magical powers because somebody said it had magical powers. No. They knew about it. They knew that the Hebrew word Merkaba is actually composed of three words. Mer-ka-ba. Mer means light, ka refers to the spirit, and ba refers to the body. When you put these three words together, you get the notion of your body as the chariot or the vehicle for your spirit to ascend to the higher dimension or become divine light. In other words, it's the ascension process towards your light body. It goes way beyond simply being a better person and touches on the idea of becoming your true light self. This is the real meaning of the star. And when these people have this kind of knowledge, that means what they have supersedes what the other people know about the star, because they actually think it's just a piece of jewelry to put around the neck, something to remember the flag of the country and things like that. Decoration. That's from Encyclopedia Britannica. That's not from Billy Carson. So if you want somebody to apologize, you go after Encyclopedia Britannica. Don't come after me. Okay? The Merkaba symbol also refers to the healing energy and the effect of the divine union between male and female energy, meaning the union of self, the spirit and the body, and the self with the divine. So this is what they teach. This is their knowledge of the star, not the decoration knowledge. And that tells me, between this and the fact that they don't have the Talmud, it tells me that their knowledge is ancient. Their knowledge is super ancient, okay? It goes far beyond the others. And they were isolated in that area for so long, keeping that knowledge going from generation to generation to generation to generation. And then when they stumbled upon these Ethiopian Jews and wondered, well, how come you guys don't have a Talmud? Are you really Jews? Well, the Talmud is brand new. In geological timescales, it came to be. These people are ancient, man. That didn't even exist yet. Somebody wrote that later, after the Exodus, after people migrated and they got isolated in that area in Africa. All right. So that's where it went. Let's have a look at something here. See if we can pull up a quick video clip. This is a couple of clips here. I got a couple of clips about the Ethiopian Jews and what they're trying to do to make their way in society. A lot of them want to go to Israel. They want to go home, is what they're calling it, going home. But they're meeting a lot of problems because of racism.
A small city in the north. This school teaches children about their Jewish faith, but also prepares them for a possible move to Israel.
If they learn Hebrew and if they learn about their religion, it'll help. They'll create mutualism and integrate within the society there and support one another in all matters.
You see, they're trying to get back. They desperately want to get back to Egypt, to Israel. They desperately want to get back to Israel. They want to feel accepted in some way there. You know, everybody's got their own journey they want to go on. Everybody's got their own journey. Everybody's got their own internal thing that they're going through, their own hero's journey or whatever you want to call it. I can't knock them for that. They want to go back to where they feel the origins came from of how they learned this particular religion. But here's what they're running into. They're running into severe problems with it. Check this out.
Beta Israel members want Israel to give them a visa to immigrate, but some in Gondar have been waiting more than 20 years. Ashanafi Asefa moved from the countryside to Gondar 12 years ago. Now he's one of the synagogue's religious leaders.
20 years they've been waiting, some of these people, trying to get to Israel. Some people even more. They take over a few hundred at a time and give a few hundred people a little bit of chance to get over there every now and then. But when they get there, they don't give them any type of assistance. A lot of them become homeless, very poor, suffering. There is somebody new that is working now in this area trying to fix this problem. Her name is Penina Tamo Shata. Okay, Penina Tamo Shata. She's actually a black Ethiopian Jew. They're actually the first black Jew to ever make it onto into the government level, political level in Israel. So she's actually a member of the cabinet. First time ever this has happened. So this is actually a big thing. And she's running into some issues there as well. She's trying to figure out how to overcome all the racism that's going on and how to get people over there. Let's check this out.
I'm the first first Ethiopian origin person that born in Africa and become part of the cabinet in Israel. And I have a great mission and a lot of responsibility.
As you mentioned, so many firsts for you, but the journey for you is still quite far for you and your community.
Absolutely. We have a long road still to do. And unfortunately, as you know, I think every black person around the world know that we have a common struggle against racism and discrimination. And I started my activities in my early 20s when I was a student, law student. And I believe that we need to fight against discrimination based on color and other things.
How will your new position help your community?
We know that there is a lot of immigrants that wait to come back home to Israel. And we see that there is thousands of people from my community, from Beta Israel, that waited in Ethiopia and they want to come to Israel. So it is one of my goals to bring them home.
Okay, interesting, guys. So you heard it there, directly from the horse's mouth. It's not Billy Carson making this stuff up. I'm giving you all the receipts that you need. You see, every receipt that you actually need, I'm giving it to you so you can see exactly what's going on for yourself. All right. So, yeah, man, you know, for whatever reason, man, we have it hard no matter where we are in the world. I mean, they just want to put the boot on the neck. It's really unfortunate because this world can be such a much better place if everybody just learned how to love one another and just be happy with one another. Like I said in my other video the other day, I think it was a week ago, the thing about Black people is we truly love everyone. We love everyone. We want to be a part of everything. We want to have fun with everyone. We love all races of people. We really are really loving and fun, caring people. And in some ways, it's been kind of our own, I guess, weakness because of being so loving and caring and happy and helpful. It's put us in a situation where we make ourselves a little fickle-headed and vulnerable. And then we let other people take advantage of us economically, physically, mentally, and it puts us in a bad place globally. And we have to find a way to rise above that. Those are just true facts. Like I said, guys, I'm not here to pull your heartstrings. I'm here to tell you the truth and all the information that I can bring together to give you guys, some insight as to what's really going on. And yes, it's easy to keep blaming everybody out there saying, man, they're evil against us and they hate us. At the same time, we got to look at ourselves because there's a lot we can do to pull ourselves together and get up off our butts too. You know, there's a lot we can do. When you see somebody on their butt, we should be putting out a hand and pulling that person up. Instead, a lot of the times we take pleasure in their fall, and instead of helping them up, you know that trick where you put your hand out and your kid goes to slap your hand, you move it away. You know, remember that trick? That's kind of what we do. We have to be better. We have to do better. We have to learn to be better. We have to learn how to help one another. We have to learn how to support one another better. We have to stop looking for excuses and reasons to down one another and look for ways that we can mentor one another and help one another, okay, become better. It doesn't mean you're going to agree with everything everybody has say. It doesn't mean you're going to agree with everything I say. That's okay. That's okay. That's what makes you, and me, and everybody else, them. At the same time, though, we have to find some kind of common ground that we can coexist and that we can become better, loving with one another, instead of focusing so much on going over the top to love everyone else. We still have to do that, but at the same time, when we do that, we just forget about ourselves. I'm just being frank, guys. I'm being honest with you, man. I see it every day. You remember, I wasn't born with a silver spoon. I came from the ghetto, verifiable. I came from underneath the ghetto. I've had people in my chat. They know where I'm from. I came from the gutter, man. I came from the absolute gutter. Matter of fact, this weekend, I'm going to ride through the gutter. I'm going to ride through. Every now and then I ride through. Every now and then I ride through. You know why? To remind myself we're not to end up, and also to meditate and think, what can I do to find a way to reach out and help more people? You know? But yeah, it's a lot going on, man. A lot going on. But when I see this macabre information passed down by the Ethiopian Jews, and I see then I see the Encyclopedia Britannica understanding of what the Ashkenazi Jews and the other Jews believe in terms of the Star of David and how they acquired it. That's when I recognize these people are ancient, man. These people got the real knowledge. All right. The young lady you just heard talking was Ethiopian Israeli minister. All right. She says we have a common struggle against racism. All right. This is her Wikipedia page right here. She's the very first black woman, or very first black person at all to be put on the cabinet. Which is really amazing, in Israel. And her main focus is trying to get people out of jail that shouldn't be locked up. I think when she started, she said it was about 40% of the people that were in jail were black Jews. So you can see the racism story. It's the same duplication of what we have here going on in America. So she's been working to get that fixed. She's got a big job on her hands. Luckily, she's young. Looks like she's only born in 1981, so she should have some legs running up under her. She should be okay. But, man, what a big job, what a big task to take on. So hats off to Penina Tamano Shata. She's got a hard job ahead of her, big time. All right, big time, hard job ahead of her. All right, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. The world is full of a lot of religions, and I don't understand why. That's just my personal thing. I just, based on my real research, I don't understand why people don't just seek spirituality. I think that spirituality is a true key to unlocking the freedom of the world and unlocking the freedom of humanity, and giving us access to the true power that's inside of each and every one of us. I truly, truly believe that. Thank you, Stephen Williams. Happy birthday again, man. And so I truly believe that every single one of us has a special power, a special piece of the puzzle that we can bring. But I personally believe that religion puts that special power and that special gift that we have into a small little tiny box with a lock and a key. And it causes a lot of us to never really open that box because of fear, because the primary basis of religion is fear-based. And anything that deals with fear is a low frequency, and anything that's dealing with a low frequency is going to bring you back a lot of low vibrations. Low vibration law of attraction. I want high vibration law of attraction. I want good things happen to me consistently. I don't want to always have to hear about all these disasters. I don't want to always have to worry about it's the end of the world and it's the end of days and all this other crazy stuff. I don't want to hear about that stuff. This end of days and end of the world. I just, one thing Jews did get right is the fact that, Jesus was not the Son of God. In my personal opinion, they got that right.